A very good morning to all of my friends. Let us begin the Hindu analysis for 10th of September 2020. So let us begin our Hindu analysis with first topic of the day, or with our first thing, which is thought of the day. So the first thing, the thought says that change your life today. Don't gamble on the future, act now without delay. It was said by Mr. Suman Bever, and he is absolutely right, because time is the most precious thing we have. We have 86,400 seconds a day. It is like an amount credited in our account which we have to spend in a day. What we will do? We will utilize it to the most best possible manner, and that we have to do. The same we have to do with our time, because it is the most important thing we have. If we do not act now, we cannot act later, because now is the time. Now, so it is always said that we should live in present. Living in present is very much important. You might have heard the Hindi story of Mongeri Lal ki Haseen Sapne. So this was related to, he was thinking of something else and doing something else. This led to a number of mistakes by Mr. Mongeri Lal, due to which he lost his job. Okay, so we should not be making up the forts in air. Okay, हवाई clay नहीं बनानी चाहिए हमें. We should be working in our present to improve ourselves, to invest in ourselves, to skill ourselves, so that we can do both the good at present and then in future, because our good present will automatically lead to better future. So we should be ready with ourselves. Okay, we should invest in ourselves, then only we can gamble on the future. Otherwise there cannot be such thing that future will bring us prosperity at its own. We have to do this. A man who helped himself, or those who help themselves, are helped by the God. Okay, you might have heard this, and this is absolutely correct. So with this, friend, moving to the next section of ours, which is about significance of the date. Okay, significance of the date. The significance of the day is, we have taken three topics here. The first one is Gibraltar's National Day. Gibraltar's National Day. So you might have heard about the state of Gibraltar. The state of Gibraltar is located at this point of near confluence of this Europe and Africa, near this Spain and Morocco. So it is hardly a 25-26 kilometer wide water body, which is surrounded by these two large land masses. Okay, here we have this Spain and here we have this Morocco. It was an important navigation point from this Mediterranean Sea to this Atlantic Ocean. And since in the European century, 18th-19th century, it was a point of this naval shipment, right? The line of communication of then times. So it was occupied by Britain, okay, the kingdom, the UK kingdom then, which was a superpower of 18th-19th century. So it was occupied, this Gibraltar was occupied by Britain. So later, when it was the UK was decolonizing the world, the Gibraltar, it was given a kind of referendum. So the people here, they voted in favor of staying with the Britain rather than going back to Spain. So this day, 10th September, is celebrated as the National Day in Gibraltar. Okay, so you might know where the Gibraltar is, to whom it belongs, because it is located on this confluence of Mediterranean Sea and Atlantic Sea, and a small body of land. Okay, and it belongs to UK. Despite being part of Spain in earlier times, now it belongs to this UK. Also, it had been a part of Morocco. It had also been a part of Morocco for some time, because of this Turkish Empire, right? Turkish Empire. So coming back to our next thing is about World Suicide Prevention Day. So 10th September is also remembered as World Suicide Prevention Day, which has been defined by this World Health Organization in association with International Association for Suicide Prevention and the World Health Federation for Mental Health. All these bodies decided to come up with a day which can be utilized for deciding on the progress we have made. Okay, how we can tackle this problem of suicide. A few days back in my The Hindu lecture, I told you that in India, as per this NCRB data, National Crime Record Bureau data, the cases of suicide have been rising. Okay, they have been rising, and the reason is the stress. The the fast moving life has brought large amount of stress with itself, and this has led to mental disorders, depression, different kinds of depression. So the people need to come over it, and they can only do it with happiness. The slightest amount of happiness we can get, we should seek the small happinesses. Okay, the smalls of happiness. Otherwise, if we are in search of our future happiness, we lose our present. That is what I told you in that thought of the day. We should not lose our present. Okay, we should be both happy and working, and that's why it is always said, the search of the work which you can do with happiness. So the World Suicide Prevention Day, we hope that these organizations could do well, and also we have a lot of helpline numbers nowadays which can be utilized for the purpose if you are distressed or you are in depression. Okay, we have seen that recently Mr. Sushant Singh Rajput, a famous actor who attempted suicide, and the case is still going on, but similar such cases have been there, and many other famous personalities have argued or said that they have been undergoing the problem of depression. So this depression and suicide are very much intricately linked, and we have to understand the problem of mental health. Okay, and then India has recognized this under our Mental Health Act. The government of India has passed this Mental Health Act to be recognized as a part of health system in India. Mental Health Act, I think 2017 this act was passed, and this has been now recognized in our health system. Okay, then moving on to the third thing, which is about, it is the birth anniversary of GB Pant. You might have heard about Govind Vallabh Pant. So he was a prominent freedom fighter who was none less than the figures of Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi. He was a very prominent figure. He fought along with them. He also was a prominent supporter of Hindi. He wanted Hindi to become a national language, but he failed in his attempt to do so. Then he got Bharat Ratna in 1957 for his works. Okay, and also he became the first Chief Minister of United Provinces. Actually, in 1950 the name was United Provinces. So from 1950 to 1954, he was for the first Chief Minister of Independent India, the first Chief Minister of State of UP of Independent India. Okay. So after his name, many dams, many reservoirs or many bridges, even a city called Pantnagar is there in Uttarakhand. Okay, and this Govind Vallabh Pant dam is there. So many things have been done after him, and he was a great man. Then moving to our news section then, which is the first news is about China, friends. And the massive Chinese buildup has been seen on the northern bank of Pangong Tso Lake. So yesterday I explained you about this Pangong Tso Lake, how its northern border has this fingers, and how India has captured this Kala Top and Chusul position in the southern position, okay, in the southern part of this Pangong Tso Lake. So recently what has been seen that India is dominating this southern portion of this Pangong Tso Lake, while China is heavily building up in its dominated region of northern fringes, the ridges in the northern fringes. So the thing is that India says that the LAC passes from this eighth finger, and India has been patrolling till 8th finger since up till April 2020. But after this, the Chinese aggression, they came till this 4th finger, and now India has remained patrolling till 2nd finger only. So the fingers that India was claiming is now under the this occupation of China. So they have changed the strategy. The thing is, the changes in strategy has been seen with China. So we will discuss about this change in strategy later. First, let us see what the fingers are, what India has been doing. So the thing is that Chinese aggression is increasing day by day. Now they have deployed large number of army and tanks in this northern sector. Okay, and the reason for this is that the southern part of this lake has been dominated by India, because we have captured those Chusul and Kala Top ridges. Okay, so these hills are very prominent position to keep an eye on this entire area, where Chinese movement can easily be tracked. But in this northern region, the China is already have entered till 4th finger, and it was only after de-escalation that both the countries moved back, India moved back to second finger while China moved back to fifth finger. So in any condition, India lost. In any condition, India lost because until April, India was patrolling till eighth finger. Now we have been moved back to second finger only, while China has come forward to fifth finger. So the thing is, China is building army so that they can show their might. Okay, they want to show their military might so that India could move back from this Kala Top region, because they want to prominently show that they have might and they can capture this area with their militaristic might. While India is not ready to give up, India has taken every possible action to not give up in this manner. Okay, so this is the actual news where the commander level talks have been going on to de-escalate the tension, but still the results are very meek. Okay, very little has been achieved with this de-escalation talks. But the good thing is that both the countries are engaged in talks despite this condition or the tensions on LAC are going on. Okay, they are still talking to each other, and this is quite new for the West. One editorial has written this. In one editorial, this was very well described that still both the countries are under talks. And the problem, this whole problem has arisen because of the trade routes. You might have heard about Silk Route in ancient times. So this Silk Route was prominent route on which traders used to move, and Leh in Ladakh was a center for such movements. So earlier there were kind of the boundary demarcation was not done properly, and then British came and they make it more complicated rather than solving it. And now both India and China, who both are very well established civilizations from ancient time, are fighting over this piece of land because they do not have properly demarcated border. And a simple thing could be that they can sit together and can solve out the problem. This Askai chain actually was given to Mr. The Dogra king, okay, Gulab Singh, who was given Kashmir by this Kashmiris, Gulab Singh Dogra, the king of Kashmir in 1850 something. Okay, so when he was given Kashmir, Gulab Singh, the eastern boundary of Kashmir was not decided by these Europeans, the Britishers, because Askai chain was the region which was kind of uninhabited. So the Britishers thought that it is we do not need to define this boundary on the eastern sector of Kashmir, and it could be defined later. Okay, and that was the problem that we are facing today. Askai chain is still under this occupation of China, and we are fighting on our LAC, which is and we all know that China's aggressive nature is visible here. The China is very much aggressive, because if they wanted a peaceful settlement, they could have come to talk, and they should not have violated the agreements which India has signed over the past few decades. The agreements related to de-escalation, the agreements related to this border settlements, okay, the agreements related to this demilitarization, the agreements related to non-firing, okay, peaceful settlements. There have been this confidence building measures, but China has violated many of them, like recent air shot, which was first firing after 45 years on the border on this LAC, on this disputed LAC. Okay, so the thing is that both the countries can solve out the issues, but if they are willing to, only if they are willing to. The next topic is about the same for India, China. I will be covering 3 to 4 topics so that I can give you the picture what this all is going towards. So the thing is here that Mr. Aljan Tarapur, he is describing that the center doctrine of defense in India, which is taken by our central government, is not appropriate. And it is not, why it is not appropriate? Because China has changed its strategy. It has now been 4 months on the LAC tensions, and this Chinese aggression, the territory they have occupied, seems now permanent. Earlier we were of the thought that they would aggress, they would come, make incursions, would stay for a period, and then they would go back. But now it seems permanent. So now it requires a change, overhaul in our strategy, defense strategy against China. Because we have many the enemies on our both fronts, Pakistan and China, right? So we need to create a kind of overhauling of our strategy to deal with both. So here the perspective is taken from the China's angle, and he says that Indian army has been, China has changed strategy of attack from the conventional method of war and expansion. In 1962, what they did, they made a kind of large scale invasion in India, okay, from the Arunachal, from the Ladakh, from every region possible, and captured the territory which they wanted. Though they from the Arunachal they moved back, leaving the territory intact with India, in a sky chain they captured it for permanently. So similar is what India or Indian army was expecting. That such large scale invasion would take place on Chinese side for capture of any territory, right? And but recently China has changed its strategy. They have made minor incursions in multiple areas, like this Chusol area, in Daulat Beg Oldi, in this Pangong Tso region, okay. So they have made multiple incursions recently in Uttarakhand also, and in the 5 abductions in Arunachal. So all these moves or incursions from China, they are a kind of new strategy of minor steps which they are taking to capture the newer territories, right? So it is a kind of failure on the part of this intelligence of ours, which has not been able to intercept it, and on partially on this military, because even after the incursion they have not taken the position desired, right? They are not very much equipped to take the forward position they are desired of, right? So they are yet relying on the conventional move. The Indian army was still expecting that any bid of capturing territory from Chinese side would be in the form of major conventional invasion like 1962, but they have failed in this, okay. So moving ahead, what strategy this author suggests here, he says that India needs to overhaul strategy, and what we can do, we have to speeden or expedite our response. A speedy response is what India can do, okay, not only in this Ladakh but in other regions as well. How we can do this? We can take help of technology, right? We can use those cameras, satellite images to check the movement, to detect and track the adversary moves, how they are moving, right? We do have technology, right? IRNSS is there, the NAVIC system for Indian regional national satellite system, which is now have around 8 satellites, right? So this can be utilized for the purpose for tracking the movement, what the government or military is doing, what intelligence is doing. When they were crossing this LAC in April, we were waiting. क्या हम wait कर रहे थे that let Chinese do the incursion and we will act accordingly later? So the thing is that what we can do, we need to detect and track the adversary move. And the second most important thing is the devolving of authority, the devolving of command authority to respond to enemy aggression. And this can be done by training the local commanders who should have authority to take anticipatory action. अब क्या होने वाला है, they can anticipate this and then take in the action accordingly, whether to go for the defense or whether to go for the offense. Okay, either to attack the enemy or to fill the forward defensive position. What should be their action should be decided by their own conditions, the local level conditions. And these kind of local commander authority should have rehearsed procedures at the ground level to expedite the response without the need of higher commander's approval. Then only expedited moves could be taken immediately. Okay, expedited move can only be taken immediately as per the need when they are properly rehearsed. And that is what India requires now. The India requires that we need to give more authority, like the black top or kala top. In the late August, 29 or 30 August, what Indian soldiers did, they captured this black top hill on the southern part of this Pangong Tso region. Here this black top is situated. So this black top has now given India an advantage to track the movement of China in this entire territory. See, this is the region. This is the LAC for right now. And here is the Chusol region. So in this Chusol region, India is having dominating position. Though in the north, the China is having dominating position on the fingers. In south, because of this move of black top, India is having a dominating position. And similarly, if you remember the Operation Meghdoot, where the Siachen is located, right? Siachen. So India moved first to capture this height of Siachen, okay, to reach the top of Siachen. And it is because of this that Siachen is a part of India. Otherwise, it should have been the part of Pakistan. If you see this LOC, it goes on like this. Okay. From here it was not from this point of NJ982, I think that's the name. So after this point it is not clear, but it goes on like this. So if we not have captured this Siachen peak, we could have lost it. Similarly, in case of this black top, if we wouldn't have captured this peak of black top, we would have been at the backward position. Okay, we would have back seat, but now we have a leverage. Now we can go with to talk with China on equal terms, and this is what is required. This is a new strategy which India can adopt to deal on equal terms with China. Okay, friends. So recently there has been news that on 10th of September, Mr. Jaishankar, our external affairs minister or foreign minister, he will be going to meet his counterpart, the Chinese counterpart, Mr. Wang Yi, today. And this meeting would be done on the sidelines of this Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is to be organized in Moscow. Okay, and since it is organized in Russia, and Russia has shown its interest in mediating between both the parties, since the tension from between both the parties is not good for the global peace and stability, even not for Russia, because both are good friends of Russia. Not only good friends, but a huge market for Russia, because India is a good buyer of the military equipments. Our 62% military imports come from Russia only, while China is also one such important buyer and partner of Russia. They have been partnering in terms of this oil and gas supply from Russia to China, then military equipments like this S-400 recently given to them. They have ordered 5 S-400, right? They have been developing jointly this nuclear weapons, like this nuclear fighter planes they are developing. They are developing nuclear warships. So India is also doing this with Russia, but China, because China has more capital, they have more power, they have better equipped logistical supply chains and industries. So the partnership has increased to a greater depth now. And India needs to do the same. India needs to do the same. Otherwise, we would lag on many fronts. We would lag behind on many fronts. So back to the news, the recent engagement of India and China, Russia has said that they are now trying to mediate between the two so that create positive circumstances, okay, to resolve this international dispute. This gathering is quite keenly watched over the globe. Okay, all countries are watching this gathering and they are seeking that positive results could come out from this meeting, because these kind of tensions are not good for global peace and stability. That's it for India-China tension. Moving towards this digital disconnect. Okay, so this okay, now you have to tell me NSO, National Statistics Organization, comes under which ministry? I have been telling you for 2-3 days, and you will write this in comment section that this NSO comes under which ministry. Okay, so the full report of NSO, which I told you yesterday about, it is a 75th survey report of National Statistics Organization, and the report was this household social consumption on education in India. Okay, it is for data for July 2017 and 2018, and as per this data, it has highlighted the stark differences between the poor and the rich, okay, in this internet access, the computer and internet access in several states. The disparities are glaring among the different economic strata. We have seen that in the top quintile in Odisha, there was 63% internet penetration, while in the lowest rural quintile means the top 20%, and the lowest rural quintile, that lowest 20% in rural Odisha, had only minimal, abysmal 22.4% internet penetration. This is quite low. You feel that only 3 out of 100% have access to internet, so they are going to rule them tomorrow. Is it or not? Similar is the case. The urban India is now going to rule the rural India. And many a times you might have heard that India need more smart villages rather than smart cities. Because from if you know about 2011 census, you will know that around 65%, though it is 68 from this 2011 census, around 68% of India's population still lives in rural areas, in villages. Though the city population is expected to rise, but still more than 60% people live in rural India. So empowering them would itself improve the backbone of India. Is it true or not? So the data has come forward and says that this kind of divide has led to the educational divide in India during this pandemic. Educational divide. A large number of students are still struggling to log on to online classes. They are struggling to get the education. The right to education has been provided by the government of India. The RTE Act has been there in this 2009 under this Article 21A of the Fundamental Rights, right? But we are not able to provide education, especially during this pandemic, because many of the schools have shifted online. But hardly 10% of our children have this computer or tablets, or hardly 25% have this access to internet, as per this data given. Okay, I gave this data yesterday, but this is about analyzing. This entire editorial is about analyzing that what wrong we are doing and what extra we can do. Like on this Independence Day speech, okay, so let us discuss some figures here, then we will discuss the solutions. So what figures here, the facts and figures, like large states, like only 3 states in India, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh and Kerala, have this more than 50% figure for households having internet connection. So you can see more than around 50% households still do not have access to internet, and in cities like Delhi. So we can think of the condition in remote Indian villages, like in Arunachal Pradesh, like in Tripura. Okay, even the high IT sector, the states with high IT sector development, like Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, they even have less than 20% in internet penetration. Similar is the case of with large states like Uttar Pradesh, below 20% internet penetration. So even if people have these equipments, right, like the government is providing free mobile. If you have seen the news from Punjab, the smart connectivity scheme in Punjab, they are providing this free smartphones to 12th class students. Okay, similar is the case with UP, which has provided free laptops few years back. So even if they are devices, there is no internet penetration. How the children are going to use them? Then there is less reliability of internet that is present, and then affordability is also a question. The next thing is the electricity, the power that is not available in many of our Indian villages. So we have to address a lot many things to provide on this online education to our children. Online education, right? You can see the connectivity in rural Odisha is hardly 5 to 10%. In rural Odisha, it is hardly 5 to 10%. And similar is the case for other states like Madhya Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka and West Bengal. Only a slim minority can hope to do the academic work on time. So many remote locations have this power. I've told you that they have power of this reliability and power deficit. Okay, coming to the solution on this Independence Day speech, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he acknowledged this problem of digital divide and promised that he will connect all our villages with optical fiber network cable in 1000 days. And we also had one program, this NOFN, National Optical Fiber Network Program, which was begun in 2011 to link our panchayats. 2.5 lakh panchayats were to be connected with optical fiber network, right? And they were connected with this high-speed internet so that community centers could be created where local people could access the online services, especially related to this banking and the services provided by government, like this registration in various schemes. Okay, so the states have not done their part. The states are yet to take any such big leap. Then connectivity must be prioritized for education. It must be prioritized. Okay, so what can be the solution? The solution can be searched in other countries. Like the European countries, they are partnering with their telecom operators for survey and map making, to search for the capacity they need, to leverage the capacity they have and they need. Similar can be done in India also, and we can have this suggestion from our valuable IT industry. They say that those desktop computers which are of no use and now in our IT industry, they can be refurbished and donated. Many IT industries have come up with this solution that these computers could be refurbished and donated to the children in an open program, so that they can get access to devices at least. Then a new gigabit speed program wireless fiber standard, of this standard is required, which could provide internet to this inaccessible areas. And such similar example that India had provided this undersea cable internet to Andaman and Nicobar Island recently. Similar actions could be taken, like satellite internet could be provided to several remote locations in India. We can take help of other countries, like India has been planning to take help of Bangladesh. Recently we laid cable from Bangladesh to connect our northeastern state. It was actually last year. Then we can go on for more spectrum capacity, so that we can have this, we can commercially utilize whatever potential we have. This is the only way to develop our capabilities and overdrive the bridge to this digital divide. So that's it for this topic, friends. I have explained a part of it yesterday, and I think this is enough for today. Moving on to the next topic, friends, which is this court stays the Maratha quota and send pleas to statute bench. So recently a writ petition was filed, a group of petitioners in Maharashtra, they filed a petition challenging the Maharashtra reservation law. So reservation is again become a hot issue in the country after this breach of 50% cap. So let us see first what the news is. So recently the Mr. Justice L. Nageshwar Rao bench, which is a 3-judge bench, has seen the merit and argument of the petitioners and has shifted the case to be heard by a larger bench. Well, the petitioners are demanding that it should be heard by this 11-judge bench, because this moving away or moving beyond of this 50% cap on reservation in appointment in admission is a serious issue, and the government should think on this and should take an appropriate step on this matter. So let us see what can be done and what the background of this entire new system is. So after the appointment of Mandal Commission in 1992, this I think under P.V. Narasimha Rao, right? So in 1992, this Mandal Commission was appointed to check on whether OBCs, other backward classes, they could be given reservation or not. As per the recommendation of this Mandal Commission, the 27% reservation was given to other backward classes, and this was done by the government, and government also tried to give 10% reservation to higher classes. This was also the second recommendation of this Mandal Commission. But there came the entry of Supreme Court, and they showed their judicial activism. Then in Indira Sahani case, the Supreme Court decided that whatever amount of reservation you want to give, there would be a cap of 50%. No reservation could go beyond 50%, and rest 50% of seats will remain open. There should be open competition. Friends, this was cited as one of the important reasons that this large scale reservation in India has been cited, an important reason for this brain drain, because those people with adequate talent do not find adequate opportunity, right? Though there has been argument that hardly 3 to 5% of the jobs are government jobs in which reservation has been provided, but still the research work is largely done with the government. In Indian industries, there is lack of this research in academia link. So the largely research work is done in the field of this government sector. So the talent we have, it is moving outside. So coming back to this reservation topic, sorry for this, क्योंकि यहाँ थोड़ा sentimental हो गया मैं. So coming back to this Indira Sahani case, 50% cap was provided and 50% seats were to be remained open. So recently a law has been passed in Maharashtra, and it has provided 12 to 13% reservation to Maratha community, though they have been there in this OBC part. So earlier the thing was that these kind of communities, they didn't wanted such reservation because they thought of themselves as being superior to others. But now the things have changed. The communities which are involved in agriculture, they have low income. So now they want their children to have secure future. And this can only be done with the help of this reservation, where the children can get easy government jobs. Though not very easy, but yes, easy compared to others. So this law has breached the 50% limit. And then we also have this EWS quota provided by 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act by the central government, which provided 10% reservation to higher classes, higher caste, the poor of higher caste. So all these, both these are now under these laws, or these actions of the government are now under Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is hearing petitions on both these changes, and the thing is that they should be decided properly. Okay, because reservation has become a very hot issue, and the government, the various government, both the central and state, they have been leveraging the issue to have the political gains. And this 102nd Constitutional Amendment has said that reservation can granted duly only if a particular community is named in the presidential list. But this 10% goes against this concept. Okay, so in many states now the reservation has reached beyond 70%. Beyond 70%. So see, only 30% of seats are left for the talent. Only 30% of seats are left for the talent. So the thing is that the government should think on this, whether such kind of reservation is required in the country or not. Because once done, it is very hard to reverse back. It is very hard, because the political mileage that the parties are seeking, they cannot go back. They cannot go back, because Indian polity is largely based on this caste and religion. Still it is largely based on this caste and religion. The issues of this development, the potential, the human capital, it takes backseat. So the required thing is that government should take rational step, and yes, this in my opinion, yes, not 11 judge bench, but to appropriate bench, this case should be referred, so that this 50% cap should be maintained. Okay, whatever reservation the governments are giving, whichever government, state or center, to whichever part, they can create the Supreme Court recently said that like in SC, in scheduled caste, sub-classes can be made by the states, class within class. So such kind of arrangement could be made in OBCs as well, could be made in other departments, so that overall reservation should be remain at 50%, and in longer future it should be brought down to 33%. Because talent should be given opportunity. Talent in every manner should be given the opportunity. Though reservation is required, but it should be to an optimum level. Going more than 2/3 reservation, what we are doing? We are picking up the talent and throwing it out. Yet you find that Indians are seeking this H1B visa. So they want to go to US. They want to go to Europe. Why? Because they don't have opportunities, the proper opportunities in India. So we have to rethink this entire issue in the manner that why we are not able to grow in terms of innovation, research, talent, and what reservation amount is required in optimum manner to which community, okay, in particular. Because this ST reservation, if you see, this ST reservation is largely taken by only few top communities. It has not trickled down to the base level. You won't find communities from remote areas getting this reservation. Okay, I haven't seen people from Andaman and Nicobar taking benefit. Very little benefit is there for the people in Andaman and Nicobar, like those Jarawas, because they are not yet the part of mainstream, like those centennials. So the thing is that they should be provided, this trickle down effect should be there, and the reservation should be optimum, rather than going with the political themes. Okay, so I think that's enough for the day, friends. And with this, okay, one more, okay, sorry. So this is PM Swanidhi scheme. This is mainly the aspect of this MSME, the micro enterprises. The priority here is, the focus here is just micro enterprises, And this PM Swanidhi scheme, recently Prime Minister has said that he is planning, or the government is working on this new digital transaction platform for the street vendors. Because in this pandemic, many of the things have moved online. So Prime Minister has said that he wants our vendors to move online to accept digital payments and sell their products on app-based market could be developed for them. So government is planning to create a market, the online business for vendors, a platform. And also the government has provided loans to street vendors through this Atmanirbhar Nidhi called as Prime Minister Swanidhi, a micro credit scheme. Remember the ministry, right? Under this Urban Housing and Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Union Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry. And this scheme was started in June. Okay, PM Swanidhi scheme. And under this scheme, rupees 10,000 is being provided to these street vendors who has been hit by this pandemic and lockdown to restart their work. It is a kind of very low interest scheme. Here the government has get rid of the interest completely. So no interest scheme, and rebate up to 7% is given anyway on this the loan of rupees 10,000, right? So it is a kind of booster to these micro enterprises. And if you have heard about those gram loans in Bangladesh, okay, so it is a kind of very successful movement led by Mr. Yusuf, and he has even been recognized in UN because he was giving very meager loans to poor people, hardly 100 rupees or 200 rupees loan. And this was a very successful model, though India tried to achieve this with the help of SHG, but still we are lacking on this. So these kind of rupees 10,000 loan can prove very good during this pandemic. The government is targeting 50 lakh beneficiaries under the scheme. Until now, 1 lakh beneficiaries have been provided services under it. And also, if we can provide digital transaction platform to our vendors, it could lead to better opportunities for them in future. At last, our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, met 3 of these beneficiaries in Madhya Pradesh, and to one he spotted this plastic water bottle and advised him to replace it with an earthen pot. So it is a kind of very good advice, and though earthen pot there is this problem of cracking, but still it is a kind of very good alternative, because it is somewhere our responsibility to shift towards environmental friendly things rather than using this plastic, which has become a nuisance now. And he also advised him to recycle the pipe which has been used in the brooms he is selling. So okay, they might look very good on the paper, but government should also take actions for these kind of things, because it is hardly that he know where this pipe gets recycled. So the government should also take action on this, and the advice seems very good. Yes, we should do our part for accepting this environment friendly technology. So the thing is, here you need to remember this 2 things, that PM Swanidhi scheme is there for the street vendors giving rupees 10,000 loan, and it comes under Ministry of Union Housing and Urban Affairs. Then with this, thank you friend, and have a nice day. I hope I have contributed well to your knowledge. Thank you.